Welcome to Open Source Options. Take a look at this map. I want to show you how you can easily take a land cover map like this and add topographic context like this super easily. And it also works if we want to use color imagery. You can see we could easily add some topographic texture to our imagery or to our other raster layers with this method. So stick around and we'll get covering that right now. Now, I'm going to get rid of this hillshade so we can still do this in the beginning with you. I'm going to remove that. I want to show you the layers that I have loaded in so we can be clear on what I'm using. So here I have some National Agricultural Imagery Program imagery in natural color. This is from the USGS. Here I have the National Land Cover Dataset, also available from the USGS. And here I have the Land Fire Dataset, which is also a land cover dataset, also available from the USGS. Now, in a previous video, I showed you how you can get all of these layers or layers similar to them. I'm pulling all of these through web map services, so I'm streaming them, and you can do that too. There's a link in the description for that video on QGIS base maps. Now, the next thing I have here, and I'll add this up, I have a digital elevation model. And this is a LiDAR-derived 1 meter digital elevation model that I got from the 3D elevation program at the USGS. And I've also showed you in a previous video how to download DEMs and elevation data. So if you go download a DEM for the United States, you will be able to perform this anywhere given the layers that I have. And just go check out those 2 previous videos for how to get the data. All right, now let's go from here. So now that I have this, I want to create a hillshade for my digital elevation model. And we can do that easily just by searching for hillshade down here in our search bar. I'm going to select the QGIS hillshade tool here, and I'm going to open that up. Now, I want to input my DEM as the elevation layer. I'm going to leave these defaults the same. They're going to work well for what we have. You can adjust these if you like. The Z factor will give you additional exaggeration, so you can adjust your hillshade to do this. And let's go ahead and click Run. This will take just a minute to complete. But not too long. Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to close this. Maybe. There we go. And there's our hillshade. Now the next step, and this is super easy to do, we're going to make sure our hillshade is selected here. We're going to turn off our digital elevation model. I'm going to start by turning on the land cover, the NLCD land cover. And now I'm going to come and change the blending mode. So I'm going to go to hillshade. I'm in my hillshade settings, layer styling. You can get this panel by going to layer, or sorry, by view, panels, layer styling, turning that on. Now I'm here going to go to blending mode, and I'm going to change this to multiply. And there you can see we have that topographic context now added to our land cover. Now, you'll notice this is a little dark. We have some settings we can adjust here. Primarily, we want to adjust the brightness. The brighter we make this, the more our land cover shows through. If we pull it all the way up to 255, it has almost no impact. We can pull this down to whatever level seems suitable to us. Somewhere around 100 or 200 usually works well for these type of data. Now you can also adjust the contrast. You can pull this contrast up. It's going to darken some areas, lighten others. So we can adjust the contrast to really make those mountains stand out. You can drop this back down. We can adjust the gamma. This will be similar to adjusting the contrast or the brightness. So you can see as we get up here, our gamma adjusts that. As we get down, we get a little more pronounced features. So you can play around with those settings to get what you like. Now let's take a look at how this looks with our native imagery. So if we go to the imagery, You can turn that on, and you can see that with the imagery, we might want to have slightly different settings. We can make this darker, we could make it lighter. You can see if we go all the way light, we get that bright flat imagery, and here we get a little more context for those features. We can increase the contrast, increase the brightness, decrease the gamma, and you can see how we can play around with this till we get a product that fits our needs. While we're here, let's try a different hillshade. So let's go to our hillshade tool here again, and let's change this back to our DEM. Let's make the Z factor 2. This will exaggerate the elevation. Let's save it to a temporary file. Let's click run. This will take just a minute. And we're done. Close this notification, close that. And now let's turn off this hillshade. Let's come in here and let's change this blending mode to multiply. Let's set our brightness up to around 160. Leave these to defaults. Let's go to this hillshade setting here. Let's change these back to defaults. And this is, I believe, let's check this one. Let's make these both 150. So we can compare and see if we have any difference going on here. I'm going to rename this so we keep them straight as hillshade 2, because we exaggerated the elevation 2 times. Okay, so now we have this at 150, 001, 150, 001. Let's come back to our national land cover data set, and let's just compare how these two hillshade layers differ from one another. Hopefully there's a difference, maybe there won't be. We can click that one off, click that one on. I don't know if I see a whole lot of difference. We can actually just turn this off, turn on our hillshade, see what it looks like there, turn on this hillshade. And those hillshades are pretty similar, even though we increased the Z factor. You might need to increase the Z factor by more. You can see that by stacking those on top of each other, it basically creates additional contrast is all. We could turn both of those on, and, oops, wrong thing, and then turn on our imagery or our land cover, turn one off. And you can see how we stack different layers, multiply them together to create our topographic context with these layers. All right, so that's the basics of how to do this. It's that simple. You can easily make these topographic maps or give topographic context to your layers using QGIS and a simple DEM that you can get from most places in the world. And if you don't want to use the USGS 3-depth data, there is SRTM data that's available worldwide that you can use for this. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helps you make some really striking visualizations, and stay tuned for the next one.